Hi everyone. Today we are collaborating with DJ CSI, and we have got Chirag and Saurya here. I hope I correctly said the names. So would you like to carry on? Start with it.
Yeah. Hello, Praveen. Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Go on. You have to drive the session now.
So, Chirag, you can start with the introduction.
Yep. So, guys, today we are here to there's this session called Get Set, and we are from DJ CSI.
What happened?
Lagging, I guess.
What? It's all fine.
Yep.
Chirag, are you okay?
Yeah. Yes. Now I think I had a network issues because it was showing connecting.
Okay.
Right.
Go on. Just
guys,
go on.
We are from. Yep. I'm okay. So, guys, we are from DJ CSI.
Any issues? Okay, folks, there are two people here. One is Shaurya and one is Chirag. So seems like Chirag is having some network issues. Okay, so Chirag and Shaurya are from DJ CSI. And Shaurya, would you like to continue? I have literally no clue what I should be saying.
Yeah.
Go on.
So, hello everyone. I'm Shaurya Magar, Secretary of DJ CSI. I hope everyone is doing good. So, before beginning with what this session is all about, I'd like to thank Praveen on behalf of DJ CSI for scheduling this workshop at such a short notice. We are super excited to have him as the speaker for this event. Obviously, the people who are already subscribed to his channel know Praveen, but for those who don't, Praveen is a full stack developer, graphic designer, and a user experience architect based in London, UK. He's been in the industry for over 12 years now. He was also ranked as top 0.01 developer on Stack Overflow. All in all, he is the perfect guy to get you started with your journey in open source and programming. Now, in this event, we'll be talking about open source. What is open source basically? We'll also talk about version control systems, focusing on Git and GitHub. We will also, if time permits, we'll talk about GitHub pages. Now, it covers everything that is needed.
Not time permits at all. We are covering GitHub pages.
All right, we will. All right.
Let's do it. Great.
Yeah. So before starting, we would also like to thank M&M Jerseys and Interview Buddy, who are the gifting partner for this event. We have some exciting giveaways for our viewers. We will be having polls and quizzes in the session. Winners will be getting amazing goodies. So stay tuned till the end. We have shared a link for attendance in the chat box. You can see Praveen has pinned the message. So don't forget to fill it to get the certificates. So Praveen, you can.
And the goodies as well. So I was expecting that I will be giving some goodies. I was thinking what I should be giving. And now you are here so that you can sponsor the goodies.
Some amazing goodies, right?
Excellent. That is awesome. Thank you so much. And let's go on for an awesome, nice or like a storytelling way we can do something like that. Okay, a journey right. Or whatever. I mean, like what exactly the open source means, like how you can get into open source. And those who are first timers here, just come and just hit the like button and press the subscribe button as well, so that you can also chat. I want this to be a completely an interactive session. So in any case, if the stream stops or shows some buffering, just refresh the page. Everything is fine from my end. So let's make it a huge, awesome session today. And hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and without further delay, let's go on. So the first thing is, should we talk about, like, okay, how many of you know what open source is? How many of you do not know what open source is? So if you know it, just put yes. If you don't know it, and if you want me to tell it in a story way, just let me know. We will use a story to tell what open source is, and just type in story, and also tell something about yourself as well. Make sure this whole session is completely interactive, and all I want is you all need to learn something new today, and don't miss anything. So go ahead, let's make it awesome. By the way, how many of you want a story right now? Hey, congrats, man. You both have got already a nice appreciation from the audience. Spec buddies seems like they are descendant of Sundar Pichai. Nice.
So sorry, I had connection issues and maybe I was lagging a bit. Now it's
I
fine.
Completely understand, bro. It's fine, Chirag. It's okay. It's okay. So, oh, by the way, a lot of people are right now talking about the story. Okay, so there are like 85 people watching right now. Let's make the like count to 85 or 86 right now. Let's hit it, and then let's go for the story. Okay, so first thing what I'm gonna say is, in our story we have three students, that is myself, Shaurya, and Chirag. Chirag keeps on saying that he has network issues. The reason is he's extremely super brilliant, awesome, and he's the first bencher, and Shaurya is just sitting behind him, and I am the last bencher here. So that's the setup. And today the teacher came in and gave us a super awesome, crazy, funny homework, which no one else except Chirag knows it. So what Chirag does is, being so good at everything, he completes the homework and then he submits it, and he gets 80 marks in it. And being close friend of us, Chirag shares the homework with both of us as well. So we all copy it, and then we all three get 80%. But at the same time, me being this last bencher and an over enthusiastic kid, I look at his homework and I feel that there are some changes that can be done. So what I do is, first thing, I don't want to exactly copy Chirag's homework. So I take a Xerox copy of it, and then in that Xerox copy, I change my name. Okay, I put my name in that, and then I change a couple of things. I go and submit it to the teacher. I get like 87 marks. And then, being a good person and Chirag's good friend, I'm also telling Chirag, look at this. There are like so many things that you have missed out, so you can become better. Like you can get more marks. And then Chirag says like, yeah, you're right. Let me also add something and make it better. He's already over brilliant. So what he does is he makes it even more better, and he gets 90 marks. And we shares it once again with all of us, and we all submit it, and we all get 90 marks as well. So look at this. Shaurya did not do anything. Sorry, man. But still, he got 90 marks. Chirag first got 80 marks, did all the hard work. And me, I got a boost, and then I did some work, and then I got some marks. And then, because I told Chirag, I get even more marks. Okay, so this is the concept, right? Now let's see what exactly happened. And don't do this in your school time, because that is going to be very bad. Plagiarism is wrong. So Chirag, let's consider Chirag as Microsoft. So he create the teacher is the developer community, and they wanted some kind of an IDE. That was the homework. So Chirag developed Visual Studio Code. So Microsoft developed Visual Studio Code, and we all started using it. It was a huge success to us. Like it is so good, right? Like VS Code is really good. And then, me being a very picky, choosy developer, I wanted to do a lot of things on it. So I changed some code, and I felt, oh wow, this looks perfect. So first thing what I did is I took a Xerox copy, right? It is forking. I forked it and then made some changes in my local machine, and then it works really fine. Like even before that, it was working very good even before how it was. So I spoke to Microsoft. I spoke to Chirag or Microsoft. I told them, Chirag or Microsoft, I have made some changes. I would request you to pull my changes to your repository. Pull request. And then they accepted it. They made it better. They released the next version. We all are using the latest version of VS Code with its ultimate glory. So now you can understand the forking, pull request, Git to GitHub, all these things, right? That is the concept of open source. So how many of you understood this in a totally different way? Oh, I thought open source was totally not this. This is not open source. Wow, now this is open source. How many of you have got this feeling now? Let's hear from
I certainly have understood.
Yes, it was a great example, to be honest.
Thank you. So this is exactly what I wanted to tell everyone about. So how exactly what you need to look into the open source part. How many of you heard it for the first time? Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you are new, and start chatting as well. Woohoo! We got a great story. That's nice. We've got like 97 viewers awesome. This is the first time I'm getting such a huge people. So I just wanted to make sure I do something really cool. So Sundar says like, oh, we have Sundar Pichai on the chat. Someone was telling about Sundar Pichai, and Sundar Pichai is there in the chat as well. Thank you so much. So please, at any point of time, just ask your questions as well, so that we will answer it then and there. So we can do something like, we can start with how Git and GitHub works. And then the second thing is, as others were saying, we will also see the complete workflow. And like Shaurya said, we can also update, create a website of our own and host it too. Okay, using GitHub pages. These are the things that we are going to do, and let's see how we are doing it right now. All right, and don't worry, you all will be getting certificates and goodies. So Shaurya, would you like to reiterate it? And in the meantime, hit the subscribe and like. Go on.
Yes, so as I mentioned earlier, we have exciting giveaways for the viewers. So stay tuned till the end. And in between, we'll be putting up some quizzes and forms, Google Forms for the same. So make sure you try them out. And it's a learning experience. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's a great learning experience, and make the best out of this workshop. So yeah, that's it.
Also, as we promised earlier, that we will be sharing certificates as well. So for the certificates, you need to fill 2 forms. The first form is I just pinned right now, and that's the attendance form. So you need to fill the first form, and the second form will be shared at the end of the event. So if you want the certificate, you need to first register and then fill both the forms to claim your certificates.
Yes, and how do you claim it? You have the links in the description as well. Okay, Chirag, your voice is not audible. Suddenly your voice got disconnected.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible right now. Okay, cool. So we will start with the demo completely. So we will start with Git and GitHub right away, and let's see how we can work on stuff. Okay, so first let me try sharing my screen, and can everyone see my screen? Is that visible? So we have, where is my Kashmiri ka Kali? Nice. What is that? Okay, cool. So without further delay, I just wanted to also tell you about how you need to keep your open source profiles in such a way that so that you can have your have employers call you or something like that. So this is my GitHub profile, and it is Praveen, github.com/praveen.science. And yeah, let's go ahead with complete demo today. And then not only that, let's also build something really cool. Okay, so before that, I just wanted to show you how people are approaching me, like people or employers are approaching me to start work. So this is my website. This is praveen.science, and this is how I built. I want every one of you to create something like this. That is my only expectation from you all. So it says that I'm a cat lover, I'm a cook, I'm a mentor. There is a big picture of mine, and then I have my name, and then there are all the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Stack Overflow, and other things are there. So there is this YouTube link as well. That's where you are looking at it. And going to the next page, there is a small introduction, and whatever is required, that alone is given here, nothing else. And then other than that, we have got all the other stuff. Like, see, for example, 22nd March is my birthday, and you don't need to know the year. So phone and email, you just need to click on it, and then you get it revealed. Those kind of things are there. And in case if you don't have an experience, just skip to the education section. In the education section, what did I do? I just copied everything from my university's website. Okay, university's brochure. So today, what we are going to do is we are also going to create someone's website as well on the live. So I want a couple of volunteers from your side as well. So we will also create something really cool. And if I create the code first time, you are going to change the code. That is what open source is. So all your contributions will also be added to this. So that's something which I wanted to tell. And there are these numbers are all like made up numbers. So the numbers are like extremely high. One thing which I wanted to tell us, like whenever you are doing something, you are learning something and you're trying to do something for the first time, try to post it on your social networks. For example, LinkedIn, GitHub, or Twitter, etc. So that So for example, this particular application I did, like it was done like 11 years ago. Then this one I did like 10 years ago. This one I did like 11 years ago. Sorry, 9 years ago. So if you see the latest ones, they look far better than what I did in the first initial 3 days, right? So 3 years or whatever it is. So this way you will know like what you have done so far or something like that. So make sure you do something like this. And one more thing, every time you will be learning something new. Okay, try to write. I know that not everyone will be happy to share it with like come in the camera, show your face and share it. But always try to write a blog post or something like that. There are so many free blogging platforms available, and all you need to do is just try writing something on it and explain it like how you will be explaining your grandpa or grandma or a 5-year kid, so that your written communication skills get better. This is one of the most important things in the industry, and also your knowledge in the subject will be like shining, right? So these are a couple of things that will be helping you in case if you are writing the blogs and blog posts. Here's my testimonials. This is what people talk behind my back, and here's how you can talk behind my back. So that's about my website. And without further delay, what we are going to do is we will go with the GitHub. So make sure you have a GitHub account with you. In case if you don't have, it is very easy to create one. So all you need to do is go to github.com, and then on the main page, you just need to type in your email address and click on sign up for GitHub. The sign up process is really ultimate. I'll show you later, but let's in the interest of time, let's go ahead and start with something really cool. Okay. So first thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new repository. It's going to be a public repository. So we will call it as DJCSI Git for Geeks. Okay, as a part of Praveen's YouTube live stream. Okay, something like that I have written. And what I want you all to do is you all need to keep on contributing to this one, so that this way you will also, your profile will also shine. So what I'm going to do is now I'll just send you the link here. So here's the link, and don't forget, Chirag has shared the attendance form. So make sure you go ahead and add it there. And any questions have we got?
I don't see any as of now.
No,
okay.
There's no question.
No questions?
Not yet.
Cool. So let me also. Okay, so Rohit says he wants to volunteer. Sundar has got a question. I'm school student. Do I get certified? So you have to ask the people from DJCSI. DJCSI folks, do you want to answer, Sundar?
Yeah, anyone who registers and fills the attendance form and the feedback form gets the certificate.
And stays for the whole live stream.
Stays.
Yes, you will be getting it.
Link
and don't forget.
Description.
Yeah, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn, and yeah, go on. Let's continue with this one. So without further delay, let's start working on this. Okay, cool. So this is the first thing that we will be doing. So this is our repository we created. So what exactly is this Git and GitHub repository? So everyone knows what Google Drive is, right? So Google Drive is like the private folders and all these things are there. Similarly, Git and GitHub are the same as well, but it's kind of semi-public and private. I'll tell you how this is public or private. For example, if you check out this particular repository or something like that, I recently did something for a hackathon, and here's the repository. So if you see this one, you have got a lot of content in this. So for example, I can also put a website as well. So https freakzone.co. This is actually a game I created, and we don't need these things. So save changes. So if you see this particular website is there, right? This complete website is open source. Like what do you mean by open source, or what does this mean? Whatever I have done here, the source code of this is available here. For example, if you see this is the complete source code I have written in React, and you can see all the folders, the SRC files, everything that is not compiled. It's not compiled. Everything is like on the source code. So that is GitHub. And whatever happens, you can actually see how this whole application has been developed. They are called as commits. So if you see this, I started with nothing. I just created a landing page. That landing page has just got an index.html file, which has got a Freako lantern or something like this. Then I created another file called freakzone.co that is for connecting this application with my website. And then the next thing that I did is like I added a pumpkin. I don't know where exactly I added. Okay, I added a pumpkin here. See, each and every change will be recorded in Git and GitHub. That is how the whole thing works. So did you understand what exactly this commits and all these things? So here are the ways the whole application gets updated, like I added a crazy body style, then how I created this one. So I added a couple of files here, 3 files I added, then I changed from the React's original file to doing that. So this is how the whole Git and GitHub works. Okay, so every time when you try to change any files, you will be asked for a what exactly did you change kind of a thing. A question will be asked, and what I changed from this to this, I changed. It is similar to Wikipedia or it is similar to Google Drive, Google Docs, but the difference is your name, who exactly changed what, when you did that. There will be a unique ID. Everything will be noted, and it will be public. That is the difference. So any questions with Git and GitHub so far? So we created a GitHub repository, right?
So we have one question. How important is a GitHub profile in today's industry, from Aditya Kulkarni?
That's actually a great question, really. First thing is like based on, see, a lot of companies now, they are looking at the Git and GitHub profiles. Not everyone, but a lot of companies are currently looking at Git and GitHub. So what I would say is a couple of companies who look at Git and GitHub, if you're lucky enough, they look at your previous participation and etc. And then based on that, they will obviously offer you a job and other things. I can show you my LinkedIn profile. So I would be getting like, I saw your GitHub profile, I saw your website, and then I feel that you will be a right candidate for this particular job or something like that. Because nowadays everyone is going towards Git and GitHub for their repository hosting needs. And in case if you are doing something and you're putting it up in the GitHub repository, there you will be able to see that, okay, so this person is being active in Git and GitHub, they are doing something really cool or something like that. So that is something which I would say it's happening, or like that is what I would say. In that way, I will say. There are so many questions are there. Thank you so much. Why incognito mode? The reason is most of the times when being a web developer, you might get into trouble of cache. So to bust the cache, I generally use incognito mode, nothing else.
Also, Praveen, Jishnu says that he doesn't have any web experience, like web development. So can you tell him more about it?
If you don't have any experience, like you might start something and you will learn something, right? Let it be web, let it be non-web, let it be something related to Python. Python is the #1 language people are looking for. And even if you want to have a huge salary or something like that, Python is one of the largest one. I hate Python. That's a different story because it doesn't get into my head. So Python is #1, JavaScript is #2, and you have other other programming languages like Java, .NET, then PHP and MySQL. You have Ruby on Rails. You have what else do we have? There are like so many things. Like there are like completely so many things are there. So anything wherever you are good at, whichever you are good at, if you are good in even if you are a designer, you can use Figma. Figma assets can be GitHub version controlled, etc. Those kind of things. In simple terms, GitHub is something like a time travel for your code. For example, you keep writing a code and then you want to go back in time, you can immediately switch back in time. That's exactly how Git and GitHub works. So was it clear? So there is any time you can start with it. So you don't need to worry about, okay, am I doing it at the right time, or I don't have an experience or something like that. But you don't need to worry about those things. Definitely you will be able to start with something or the other. So if not today, maybe sometime later you will be definitely doing it. That is what I would say. Cool. Okay, any other questions do we have?
Yes, there's another question. The guy says, on the basis of HTML and CSS, can we do open source development?
100%. HTML and CSS is this building blocks of web, right? So web will never get gone or something like that. So definitely yes, 100%. So no doubts about that. Yeah, that is possible. And most of the things, like if you see the, okay, can please come, just put only once, just put the question only once, and don't use all caps. All caps is like shouting, just in telling you, not telling in a rude way. Okay. Okay. So let's start with the total different applications and languages that are there in open source. Literally, whatever you are actually working on, whether it is C or C++ or Java or JavaScript or .NET or web or mobile application development or even designs, everything can be found in Git and GitHub, and everything can be version controlled as well. Okay. So that is what I wanted to tell. Definitely, I'll look into all your questions. So it is fine to just put once. Okay. So Mithun, yes, definitely we will go with the Git commands and Git interface as well. So we will also go through two things. We'll also go through few things like the first thing is we will see how we are working with Git and GitHub. Either we will be using the web interface or command line interface or GUI interface. We will go through all these things right now. Okay. How to make our approach from doing programming to contributing projects. See, in simple thing, what we can do is there is a simple way we can work on. Like the first thing is whatever you are working on, try to put it in your Git and GitHub repository. For example, if I'm doing any small projects, try to add it in the GitHub repository. That's exactly what I would be saying. So that's an easy start to do something. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So we can directly dive into our demo. Just give me a few seconds. I'll set up something and then let's start with a web demo right now. And then we will go with other things as well. And I'll also teach you how to do domain registrations and other things. And then we'll work on stuff, all these stuff as well. Cool. How does that sound? Is everything fine? Any other questions, folks? I'm not able to see the live chat because I'm answering and I'm also setting up these things. Okay, you upload files from terminal to Git repository. You will be looking at that part as well. You will be able to see how exactly we can push the code to Git repository too. Yes. That will also be covered today. Cool. Any other questions? Git and GitHub commands will be shown. Git interface, GUIs, and web interface will also be discussed today. Okay. And we will also try to explain the complete workflow of Git. So let's see how we can do this. Yeah, this is a good idea from Neon Puts. You can start contributing to the documentation by fixing typos, etc. Which is a good idea, good start, but don't stay there because you have to do something really cool, really awesome as well. Okay, going forward, you need to work on real projects and other things. Okay, now let's go ahead and go to our original repository that we created here. So the first thing that we will do is let's first start by creating a new file or updating it. So I have created this particular repository, right? How would I clone it in my local machine? So the first thing that I would be doing is, as they have said here, you can either push a repository or do all these things, but you can also clone it as well. So I copy this link. There is this complete thing, right? So I'm gonna copy this using this command, and I'll open my Visual Studio Code window. Before explaining how I have set up my Visual Studio Code, I wanted to also explain what all things I have done here. Okay, so let me start with my personal development environment. So if you all go to Google and type in Praveen Dev Environment, you'll be able to see that the first answer that it gets us my personal development environment. So this is the article that I want you to see. So currently I'm using a Macintosh machine with Google Chrome. Google Chrome is one of the best web browsers to use for development purposes. I know privacy and all, there is a problem. There is a huge problem in the privacy side of things. But for developers, this is going to be the best thing. So you can inspect element, you can add some Google Chrome extensions, etc. Those kind of things are possible. And coming to the communication, this is for Zoom. And in case if you are using Git and GitHub, so the main reason why I always do Git and GitHub is, first thing, if I use Git, I can version control my software. For example, I keep doing something and suddenly I feel that I am going sidetracking somewhere. If I want to go back to, let's say, 2 hours before I was working on this part, so I want to go to that part, I can immediately jump there. And second thing is, if I want to continue this at a later point of time, but I want to jump to my previous location and then I want to go from there to another set of places, like I want to work on something else, even that is possible using Git. Okay, so this is the reason I'm using Git for every single thing. So I'm using iterm2 and omyzsh for my terminal, and directly jumping everything because that is LAMP stack. So Node.js is something which I use for working with React. Then Typora is like really awesome. So anyone who is happy to write a blog or something like that, you can use Typora. For example, if I put welcome to DJCSI, something like that I put, and I want to bold this, I do Control B or Command B in Mac. So if you see this, it is actually writing the markdown content for me. So this is actually good, and this helps me in writing the documentation. So this is the H1. So everything is markdown format. In case if you don't know markdown also, you can say like, let's say introduction, we'll put why we are here. So those kind of things need to be headings. Then we can just click on this one. There is like heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5. So I'm just going to put heading 2, heading 3, etc. Something like this. And I can start working on it. The formatting tags are also here. Control B for strong, Control I for italics, Control U for underline, etc. Everything is there. So something like this. It will automatically do everything for you. That is what I was trying to say. And it will also write the code for you, which is really cool, right? So this is something which I wanted to tell. Typora is really a huge, I mean, like this is a huge help for me to work with markdown kind of a text. And I always write blogs and other things with that. So coming to the Visual Studio Code, this is the main thing that we'll be using for most of our applications. And VS Code has got a couple of extensions that I'm using. So I'm using these 8 extensions right now. So I'll explain about all these 8 extensions and you will know why I'm using it and what are their benefits as well. So if you look at this, only 8 extensions I have got. So this is a theme. Let's ignore it. This is something like to-do tree. This will tell you all the to-dos in your project or application. Ignore it. This is another cosmetic thing. So the icons will be added to all these folders and files. So ignore this. So coming to the real stuff, we have Prettier and ESLint. So these 2 things will help me with all the JavaScript and HTML indentation and other things. And one more thing I wanted to ask everyone. So a lot of people know about this. This is a question for every one of you. Okay. So I have this particular web page. It has got a header, and inside the header you have a logo. It's just the text logo, and then we have got what all these things like 4 navigation items. So nav 1, nav 2, nav 3, and nav 4. So these are the 4 things that I have got. So what I want to do is I want to create a HTML page. Okay, HTML, just the HTML with valid HTML, which has a header tag. This one is a header tag. Then we have got H1 A. Inside that A, I have written logo as a text. And then we have nav, we have UL, we have LI. Inside that LI, we have another A which says nav1. Like this, I have got 4 navigation items. So how long do you think I will be taking to write this code in HTML alone? No CSS, no responsiveness, nothing. So all I need to do is convert these into tags with the specific doc type. How long do you think I will take to write this code? Please tell me. Okay, we are getting like
I say 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Twice. 2 minutes, 1 minute.
2 minutes, 1 minute. Hey, 1 second. Who is that Saksham? Day? Too much da you are. Okay, we'll get more answers quickly. Okay, Kushi, please don't tell anything about our business secrets. Okay, 2 to 3 minutes. Actually, I'm going to use Emmet. Hey, Rohit, if you are able to do it using 1 second using Emmet, I'm going to give you 1,000 rupees right now. I don't think it is possible using 1 second, even if you are using Emmet. Okay, Ketna, I can accept that. Yes. Right. How many of you don't know what is Emmet? People are saying something called as Emmet, right? How many of you don't know what is Emmet? How many of you do not know what is Emmet? I don't know Emmet, something like that. How many of you don't know Emmet? We'll see a small demo. For those people who don't know Emmet, I'm going to show you that thing right now. Okay, so I'm just clearing everything. So we can actually start from this 2030. Okay, so I'm selecting the language HTML. I'm adding the doc type. Doc type is done. Now I'm putting a header inside that H1, inside that A, and inside that I want to write logo, and then I can put nav. Inside the nav, I have got UL. There are 4 list items, right? LI star 4, and then A. Inside the A, we want nav 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. How much time did it took? 25 seconds with the explanation. Without the explanation, it would be like 20 seconds. So 20 seconds is the time that you would be spending for writing a HTML document like this. So we should be starting to be very efficient in these things. So how many of you found that this was interesting? That would be the next question from me. How many of you found this was interesting? Okay, I hope you all learned something new. So this is something that is available in VS Code by default. Okay, so by default you will be getting these things in VS Code, and Emmet is available in VS Code. There are like a lot of online applications, online IDEs. Even there, you will be able to get the same thing as well. Okay, for the complete documentation, I'll also show you the complete documentation too. Okay, so if you open emmet.io, this is Emmet. So have a few seconds to watch the demo. So you have to type CSS like abbreviations. So you are typing something like this. Once you type all these things, you click on the expand abbreviation action to expand it to the HTML part. Boom, that's it. Not only that, you can also go through the next and previous things as well. For example, if you have Ahref will not be filled by you by default, right? So you'll be able to go through those things as well. So that's Emmet. And for the documentation part, you don't want to learn all the documentation, right? There is something called as cheat sheet. Here is the cheat sheet. So I'll send you this cheat sheet link as well in the code. Exactly. It's not about being lazy. Okay, how many of you are lazy like me? I would be keeping on saying like, be lazy like me and do these things in a quicker way as much as possible. Something like that I used to say. But it is not about being laziness, but being smart and trying to make use of the technology or whatever it is. And then you'll be able to get everything done. So for example, in this example, what I have done is I have used this one. I have used the child selector. I have used, I don't think I use, I use sibling selector. This climb up is not available, I guess. I don't know. We could use all these things. I have used this numbering as well. So item 1, item 2, item 3. So nav 1, nav 2, nav 3. So all these things are those ones that are coming. And I also use this grouping as well. So I guess this will actually help you with the initial stages. And if you keep on practicing things, you will be able to work on this in a very smoother way as well. Okay. How was this? Cool, right?
It was very cool.
So that is the main reason why I'm using VS Code. VS Code gives all these things by default in its own way. Okay, so that's one thing. Then coming to the other extension, Prettier and ESLint. So these two extensions, they help in totally in a different way. For example, just give me a second. Nice to know the comments from everyone. Yes, most of the text editors do that, but there are only a couple of text editors that support completely. So Sublime Text is one that needs an extension, and there is also other things that works well. But some things support built-in, some of them do not support built-in. So, for example, if I'm trying to create a let's say JavaScript code here. So there is this JavaScript code which I'm using. So what I'm doing is b.map c comma d, or else let's make c. Const d equal to let's say c, and return c of d, something like this. So if let's say we are putting some kind of like a very minified crazy sentence here, and if I select that I'm using JavaScript and then I paste the same thing, it automatically does everything for us. For example, what all things did this do? So the first thing is it added all the spaces correctly. So before and after the equal to, before and after all these punctuations, etc. Everywhere it added the spaces, and it also added all the implicit semicolons as well. There were 3 semicolons that were missing, 3 or more semicolons that were missing. I have put only 1 semicolon here, but it added all those 3 semicolons as well, and got it in its own lines. Not only that, so for example, if you take this one, this doesn't need a parenthesis, but let's say if this needs a parenthesis or something like that, if I use something like this way, so if I copy it and paste it here, you can see that this particular thing is shown in the parenthesis, but this was removed. The parenthesis was removed from these things, right? So all these things are like really helpful for me. So this is going to save you a lot more time, because it is going to show you all the code in a unified format, and you will know where exactly you're editing and stuff like that. Not only does that, you can also edit these things. So if I press F2 or something like that, and instead of B, I put bad, it correctly finds out these bad places, and then it actually fixes it as well. So better than find and replace, these things are really helpful. So that is for ESLint and Prettier. Then we have got Git Lens and Git History. How many times should I go to this GitHub repository and then check all these things? Instead of that, I can just go to Git Lens and I can see that who did what and when, etc. Everything will be completely visible here without even going to the GitHub profile page or GitHub repository page. So looking at this itself, if you click on that line, you will be able to see that who edited where, etc. So that is Git Lens, and Git History is here. Git History, what it does is it shows the complete user interface of the GitHub repository itself. So you don't need to go to GitHub and click on the issues or on the commits or anything. Instead of that, you can just go here and look at all these things. So every single thing is there in your VS Code, and even this terminal is also available here, so that in case if you want to do anything, you will be able to do it here. Okay. In case if you want to just directly copy paste every single configuration that I have got in my machine to your machine, there is an easy way to do it as well. So if you go to code preferences and settings, you will be able to see all these changes are changed here. But if you want to do all the changes here, you can open this whole settings using this settings.json file, and clicking on this, it opens up this particular window. Okay, it's a text window which you can actually edit to make it work. So what I have done is, here you can see that there is a dot file here. This dot file, you can make use of this dot file. If you open this dot file, you have the same file here as well. Got it? So in case if you want to use my own configuration, you can use it. It is open source again. Okay, that's another reason why I'm putting it as an open source. So a lot of people will be getting benefited out of it. Now let's come to our main stuff. Let's start creating the repository, and let's start creating a simple web page for someone, and then we will try to put it in the GitHub flow, and we will also see how we can create the GitHub repository and other things. Okay, so any questions so far?
Praveen, just one thing before starting with the hands-on experience, and as we are talking about open source, can we tell them more about open source programs? So,
oh yeah, that's actually a good idea.
We can just they can just go ahead and be a part of these programs and
exactly.
Get to know more about open.
There are so many open source programs that are going on right now, so I can talk about a few, and maybe you both can also guide me with a few things. So I'll talk about two things that are that are very famous or like that is happening right now. At the same time, I will ask you both to tell about two things, so we can at least cover 4 open source programs. How does that sound?
Yes, absolutely.
That's fine.
Yeah. Excellent. So I have been working with a couple of open source programs as well as a judge and as a mentor, etc. So the couple of open source programs are like, one is Major League Hacking. Major League Hacking has been doing a lot of hackathons every weekend. Even yesterday, I did a particular this Freak Zone you saw, right? The moment I shared my screen for the first time, I showed you a game of lanterns, right? Like this Halloween game. So I did it in like 2 hours time in a live stream, and then I submitted it, and I even got something like this. Sorry, not this one. I even got a swag like this. So this is by MLH. You will be getting a lot of cool things in MLH. So this is happening every weekend, so don't miss it. So Major League Hacking is one of the huge open source or like hackathon that is happening. And there is GirlScript, GSOC. GSOC is Google Summer of Code, GirlScript Winter of Contributing. There is Script Winter of Code is also coming up. So there are like loads and loads of open source things are coming up as well. Open source programs are coming up as well. So don't miss all these things. So a lot of things are coming in, and I'll be posting a lot of things here as well in my LinkedIn and other places. So keep following me on LinkedIn, and I'll also put a couple of information on our YouTube channel as well. So these are a couple of things that's going on. So from your side, would you like to tell about Google Summer of Code and others? Outreach is there.
Outreach is also there. We forgot the main thing, the Hacktoberfest, which was in the October.
Which was yesterday. Yesterday it got over.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why I didn't talk it, man. So Hacktoberfest. Okay, I just wanted to tell all these people what Hacktoberfest does. So just give me a second. Let me try to open up that window.
You can tell them now. Next year they can participate.
Yes, they can participate exactly from today. Next year they can participate. So Hacktoberfest. So before what Hacktoberfest is, I'm just going to tell you what you will get in Hacktoberfest. So if you just go to Hacktoberfest and open the what do you call this? Open the images, you'll be able to see that there are lots and lots of T-shirts available. So that is the first. Oh, you are wearing a one. Okay, cool. Yeah. Nice. So this was the 2019 T-shirt. This is 2020 T-shirt for those people who like a darker T-shirt. Here's the darker T-shirt of 2020. 2021 is just over. Just yesterday it got over. And I was also hosting a couple of Hacktoberfest related repositories. So this is my microsite for let's make Hacktoberfest 2021 great again. And so why you should be working on Hacktoberfest. There is a lot of chances that your code will be reviewed by DigitalOcean, Intel, Dev, AppWrite. A lot of companies are coming in this time. So this is the official website of Hacktoberfest as well. And we have Deep Source as well this time. So there are like loads and loads of things that's happening. And there are like so many repositories that I created. So this is a dummy repository which you can try practicing. And then these are a couple of repositories where you will be able to create your own application or like create your own landing page or a certificate generation UI or something like that. This is one of the awesomest thing that I did so far, and about me is not needed. That's just me. So these are a couple of things which I did, and yeah, I guess someone from your team can actually talk about what Hacktoberfest is. I already showed them what all things that are. Okay, wait, I did not show them what else we will be getting. Like we'll be getting all these stickers, and this is what happened in the last year Hacktoberfest. You'll be getting a nice card which says like thank you for winning, and then all the stickers from Dev, DigitalOcean, GitHub, Git, Intel, and then you will be getting this Hacktoberfest T-shirt as well. And this is the 2020 T-shirt. This is 2015 T-shirt. This one is again 2020. These people are like flaunting it. We have got again 2020 T-shirt. So these are the things that you would have got. So actually, I have the Hacktoberfest thing here. This is not Hacktoberfest, I guess. Something like that. So that is something which I would say. And not only that, along with that Hacktoberfest, like people who are collaborating with Hacktoberfest, they are also providing a lot of great things. So here's something. So that's about Hacktoberfest. Here's all the T-shirts summarized. So 2015, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020.
So there's also Google Summer of Code, which is organized by Google every summer. So like basically many open source organizations, they apply to this coding competition, and here basically the students have to select select one of the project ideas, and even they can put forward their ideas. And once they get the idea, they can mail the mentor of the project, and the students are then shortlisted. So uh, once they are shortlisted, they get the opportunity to work as intern in those companies. So Google Summer of Coding is also one of the amazing competitions that open source programmers can participate in.
Yep. And as Praveen said earlier, there's another program called Outreachy. So this Outreachy is really great program for students that aims to support diversity in open source, like girls, and there's LGBTQ. So it's sort of a remote internship program of 3 months, and only a handful number of students are selected across the whole world. So during the application process, you need to actually show your eagerness to be a part of Outreachy, and why you want to be a part of Outreachy, how do you support the diversity and all sorts of things. And the best part about Outreachy is that this internships program are actually paid, and you will be paid in USD to if you are selected as an intern. So the applications of this Outreachy program are held twice a year, and it's from May to August or December to March, and you can contribute in through this internship by developing software or improving the existing software or designs. And this Outreachy, the application process of Outreachy is actually very long, and there are various strict rules for the eligibility. So first you need to go check the eligibility rules and see if you are eligible, and if you are eligible, then maybe you can go ahead and register yourself. Then you will have to pick one or two projects that are mentioned in the Outreachy internships from the organization or the communities that are associated with the Outreachy program. So after that, you need to pick the task that align with your interests. So one tip which I always give to the students, so that's that when you are participating in some program, so just don't keep doing the task and submit the whole bunch of code together at the end. Maybe you can try to connect with your mentors, ask them about the program, let them know that you are really interested in that internship, and send them the small contributions that make. So you doing this, you can increase your chances to get being selected. And yeah, that's it about Outreachy. You can go ahead to the Outreachy's official website to learn more about Outreachy, and everything is documented very well there. So yeah, just go ahead and let me know if you get an internship at Outreachy.
Yeah, don't forget that, and just give us a shout out as well, like in case shout out to the DJ CSI team in case if you need some kind of like a guidance on how to get into, so you can actually disturb these two people and then you can get the guidance as well. So cool. How skilled do we have to be to participate in these? And there is also another question by Kushi. What are all these competitions all about? Competitive programming type like that. Okay, it's not about competitive programming. It's about like software development or any kind of like any coding change that you want to give it to others, like contribution through coding or something like that. That is what it is all. So it's all about. Okay, that is the first thing. And if you're working with competitive programming, I guess it's more into like creating different optimized level of coding, I guess. So yes, you can do that. So that is also considered as open source as well. So in case if you are trying to optimize some kind of a code that is already existing, that can be considered as open source as well. And there are like other questions as well. Yes, Krish, you are late. And Shivansh, no, GSOC is not a competition. It is actually an open source program. I guess Kunal Kushwaha has given a huge explanation about what exactly open source is and all those things. So that's also a great thing. So let's blame YouTube for a lot of things. All right, cool. How skilled do we have to be to participate in these? basically, if you know how to work with Git and GitHub, that's all is enough. Now we are going to get into the crux of how we are going to participate in open source world or something like that. Okay, so let me share my screen once again and then go through the process of how we can do these things. Okay, first thing, when you see that there is a repository from the maintainer side of things, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this URL, and then in this, what I'm doing is I will put my username, not this repository username, my username of GitHub, and then put an @ symbol before the github.com. This is mainly for being lazy again, because I don't want to create another, keep on giving my password every single time. Okay, so I click on the clone repository. So the first thing is I'm going to show it with the Visual Studio Code, and then we will show it with the normal one as well. So I click on clone repository, then it will show you provide the repository URL or pick a repository source. I'm going to paste the URL. It will give me another option called clone from URL. Use that option and then click on this. It will ask you where exactly you want to save it. I will put that downloads, some works folder. I'll just put this one. So once this cloning repository is done, it will ask you whether you want to open the repository, open the cloned repository. Click on OK to open the cloned repository. You will be getting this particular screen. So you have got your file system here. If you open the terminal, you will be able to open the terminal here right away. So instead of these things, instead of doing this, the same thing can also be done by using git clone and then pasting this link, and pressing enter will work as well. Okay, so did you all understand how you can do all these things? Now, is there any questions in this one? That was the question. So this is first thing is you have to clone the repository. That's the step one. And second thing is we need to create some files. As a repository creator or a maintainer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a simple file called index.html. So I want to also look at what exactly this file looks like. So I will be either using PHP server or a Node.js server, or some people will prefer using live server. I will go with the PHP server. Okay. Since I'm running it, since I'm going to run on the localhost 80 port number is the standard for web servers, and it is less than 1024, which means I need to run it using elevated privileges. So I'm running it as an admin. Now let's go to our sites here. So who wants to, okay. So that's the reason I'm putting like sudo -s, and I'm using a PHP based web server. I'm writing a one-liner. There is a huge list of one-liners. So one-liner web servers. Let me send you this link. See, this is the big list of static site server one-liners. So all you need to do is just run this code, and then you have a web server running right away in your application. So I'm just going to send this link in the chat. Hey Pranay. Kushi and Ketna, why no? What is the question? Like, sorry, I did not understand what was the no thing. No for. Okay, cool. Yeah. So if I try to open localhost, I'll be most probably getting a blank page. So if I press localhost, I get just a white page because there is nothing in this page. For example, if I say, hey, DJCSI, and then I save it, refresh it. Now I could see that, hey, DJCSI is here. So literally I have just connected with this particular file with this one. Okay. So that is what I have done so far. Nothing else. So what shall we do right now? I guess I got a couple of questions from, okay, no for any doubts. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for clarification, Jinesh. So who is going to be my volunteer for the website creation? Who wants to have your website put here? We'll take one volunteer from the audience. Okay, both of you.
Yep. Also, Praveen, as we have shown them the git clone command, what if they want to start their own repository on VS Code itself? So you can tell more about Git init as well.
Oh yeah, sure. In case if you want to create your own repository as well, so what you can do is, let's say if I kind of like open some other folder, let's open the Finder. Let's say I put like DJ CSI or something like this, and then I try to open this folder here. In the Git options here, I would be able to see that initialize repository is here. Okay, I can either click on this button or in the terminal, I can do git init. And then this gets initialized. So if I click on this one, see on the left side, it got initialized. It says changes. And then it says here, empty git repository created here. Okay. In case if I don't want this one, rm-rf, don't use this git. So immediately the initialization is gone. So here you can also see it was a master branch. Now, if I click on this one here, initialize repository, boom, that's it. Immediately that's also done. So same thing. So that's how you would be initializing a repository in case if you are doing it from the local machine. Okay, was that clear? We can delete this file as well. Okay, cool. So I believe we can go with the next attempt of creating something really cool. So one thing which I will every time I will do it, like I use Get Bootstrap for everything. Get Bootstrap is like Bootstrap is the CSS framework. Oh. Getbootstrap.com is the website, and this is one of the best CSS frameworks that I have ever used. So I'll be using the same thing for a lot of reasons. Number one is this one is extremely good with mobile application development as well, like being responsive and other things. This is really good. And let's start with something simple. Or in case if you want to go with an example, we can also do some kind of an example here. You have got a lot of examples. So in this one, we'll go with this cover page example. Okay, this cover page is very easy to start with. So let's go to the view page source. And these are the things that is what you need to do. Just copy this whole thing. And then I'm just going to put it everything here. So by starting, what we are doing is we are just putting a doctype HTML, and I created the cover template as the Bootstrap thing. So what I'm going to do here is I don't want this link rel thing here, and this Bootstrap docs thing is there, right? So what we need to do is getbootstrap.com should be there here. So what I'm going to do in this part, href docs, all these docs will be changed to getbootstrap.com/docs and other things. We also have the cover.css. So what we will do is we will create a new file called cover.css. And inside the cover.css, let's open the cover.css here. Copy everything and paste it and save it. Okay, cover.css is created, and this one is also created. So I have created these two things. So what I can do now is I have changed all the files. So you can see in this part, you will be able to see that the cover has been created, and the if you see here that there are these two files that are changed. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I will start with first thing is there are 3 stages in Git and GitHub. Okay, so in Git, so first thing is your local repository. Okay, second thing is you have changed some files. Third thing is you have added those changed files to the staging area. So one, repo. Sorry about my handwriting. Okay. Number 2, changes. Number 3, add the changes. Number 4, create a commit. And number 5, push the changes. These are the 5 steps that you need to do. Okay. So I'm going to show everything using the first time I'm going to do is using graphical user interface. Second time I'll use the command line interface. Okay. So for the first thing is I'm going to use the graphical user interface for pushing the index.html. So I have created the file. So repo is being done. Number 2 is created the change. This is the change I have done. Number 3 is adding the changes to the staged changes. That is done. Number 4 is I need to create a commit. Created a index page. So that is done. And then I'm pressing tick so that I get this committed. Number 5 is push the changes. So I'm just clicking on this one so that I get it. Push it. Okay. First time, I guess I need to do gpsup because, because of many reasons. So what I need to do is I just need to click on this and then it gets pushed it. Okay, now if I go here and refresh the page, I would be able to see that index.html is here. Now I'm going to do the same thing using command line interface. So the first thing is, if I do git status, I could see that cover.css is untracked file, which means I need to, I have made some changes. I'm in the second step. Now I need to do the third step, which is git add. So what I'm going to do is, I'll be using a shortcut here. So git add dot. Git add dot means add everything that is not added. Now, after doing the git add dot, if I do the git status, I could see that I could see a new file cover.css has been created. Like this has been staged. Okay. So your brand changes to be committed. Use this to unstage. So it is already staged. The next thing is you need to create a commit message. So I do git commit -m. The message which I'm going to give is added CSS file. Okay. And then press enter. Once I have done it, this is the commit that was created in the master branch. This is the commit ID as well. Okay. So this is how the commit is created. Step 4 is done. Now step 5 is git push. So once you do the git push, you go here, you refresh this page. Sorry, you refresh this page. You'll be getting the cover.css with the add that CSS file. You remember, look at here. We have this master 609 A28D. Here you could see 609 A28D. So that is how the whole process happens. So any questions with this one? Was it clear? It is a simple 5-step process.
Yes, and adding to this, there was one command called get commit. So why is it necessary to add the message? So when you are collaborating with your friends and other people, so the commit message is to let them know what you have done, so they can work on the further things. So,
not just that, there is also another thing we can do. For example, if I open my repository itself, and I might have a lot of repositories here, my own repository, the things that I have actually written, like let's say I created something like so many days ago or something like that, and maybe I go to this particular repository or something like this. So let's take this Edusera chatbot. Okay, what exactly is this Edusera chatbot? What does this do? So if I try to run this, I can quickly run it using, let's say, Code Sandbox. So Code Sandbox is a website, codesandbox.io. So if I do start create a sandbox, and then if I try to import a project, and I go here, I copy this GitHub link, and then I go put this here, and then import and fork. It is going to start the project clearly here. Okay, fine. It has started the project. Now, if I want to see what exactly I have done so far, so let's see what exactly it does. Okay, so in simple terms, let me open this in a website. Okay, this is taking a long time. Okay. This is the chatbot without AI. It says chatbot without AI. So I'm just going to click on this one. It says, hey there, I'm a chatbot. Type start to begin. I'm not going to type start. I'm going to put hello. Okay, nothing happens. Okay, it says type start to begin. Start. Okay, hey guest, thanks for starting me up. Please enter your GitHub username. Is there anyone who wants to enter your GitHub username? Anyone who wants to enter a GitHub username, please tell me. And please just put your GitHub username there. Mithun, yes, definitely you can fork the repository. We have given the repository link here. Go for it. That's the main reason why we are creating it in an open source environment. Okay, so we have the first one as Draconis 524. So I'm just going to copy this Draconis 524 and see if what is happening here with this. I'm going to send it to this chatbot, man. I don't trust this. I don't know how Rohit trusted it. So I'm just putting it enter. Boom. Look at that. Rohit's picture is also coming here. So thanks for providing as your GitHub username. Let's look it up with GitHub. Please wait. Hey Rohit, yes, I found you. You're awesome because you have got like 32 public repos saving your details. So if I try to say location, where are you based in? Sorry, I guess I messed it up. Start, Draconis, location. Rohit Vyas lives in Visual Studio Code. Day, Yarani. So look at what Rohit Vyas has. written. He lives in Visual Studio Code. Okay, let's try typing blog site. Rohit Vyas writes at this place. Okay, what is this? rohitvyas.co. Cool. Hey, nice one, bro. Really looking good. Okay, then let's see how many people Rohit Vyas is following. Rohit Vyas follows 2 users. Am I one of them? So this is really cool, right? So let's reset it and let's give a chance for another person. So I'm just gonna give it to other person. We have got M. Nitik Pandya. Okay, let's try this once. So I put start. Okay. Hey, M. Nitik, I found you. Okay, bro, your profile hasn't got anything at all. You have to go and set your name. So I'm going to reset it and give it to another person. So we have got Saksham Coder 007. If you want your name to be there, please just put your username. Okay. So I'm just going to put start again and then paste this. Okay, Saksham, you don't have a picture. Anyone who has got a picture with you, let's try to use the bio at least. Saksham Avasti hasn't updated their bio, unfortunately. So Saksham Avasti is this one. So reset it. We want one person who has a picture, who has uploaded a photo. Okay, let's try Dishant Javeri. So let's try to do start. Dishant. Oh, Dishant's photo is also there. Let's try to use the bio. Android app developer, React Native and Flutter. Great, man. So let's put avatar. Boom. That's this guy. Let's reset this one as well. And so these are a couple of things that you can do in simple terms. So Git Bash. Okay, Git Bash is like an application for Microsoft Windows environment to actually emulate the Linux environment. That is what I would say. So anyway, Jinish has explained it in such a nice way. Thank you. And now I could see that I have done so much things like this. Okay, how did I do these things? So if I try to check this code, I won't be able to understand how I did this. I could see a lot of files here, a lot of styles here, etc. But what I can do is I can go to my list of commits. 3 months ago, I did this. So I can see that like what all things I did. So I started with creating a boilerplate of React and okay. So now I guess one of you can explain it, right? So I showed you a perfect example, like use case. Go on, explain it. Guys, Chirag and Shaurya, someone explain it.
Yeah, you were asking us. I thought you were asking the.
Yeah, I'm asking you. Yeah, both of you. Either of you.
Right. So.
Go on, folks. Talk.
Yeah, what was the question?
The question was, in case if I created this application like 3 months ago, I totally forgot about what I did. So how would I find everything? So how?
So basically, you can see the history of commits. You can see the history of the commits, and you can you can go to that version of the project where you wanted to basically see that particular version.
So we can actually see how this whole application has been developed from nothing to something beginning. That is here.
Yep. We can also use the git logs command.
So if you want to do the same thing in your local installation or something like that in your local screen, what you can do is you can do something called as git log, like how he said. So git log will show you these two things. Like remember, we saw this one. In case if you are not happy with your commands as well, you can just go to the git history. So you have this git history thing. So you can also see this file history here. And you can see that this one was created like this or something like that. Got it? So that way you can actually understand how the whole thing works. Okay, fine. Now let's try to do the open source side of things. Now, once you have done this way to an extent, if you have done this, now what you can do is you can put this in a website as well. So what you should be doing it is go to the settings. In the settings, you will be finding something called as pages. So if you click on the pages, it says GitHub pages and the source is none. Select the master branch and save it. Master or whichever the branch is the main branch and save it. Now, once you do this, if you go open this particular page, it says 404. That is because it has not been, see, it is still. So the moment it happens, you will see this orange dot and the page build starts. So if you refresh this page again in some time, still you will see the orange dot. Sorry about that. So wait for some more time and then refresh the page. This time it will be perfect. You will see a green tick and then it says that all checks have been passed. Page build has been successful. Refresh this page. Boom. You get this particular page. Now, what I'm going to ask you all to do is, if you have another account, you need to create a pull request. So how you would be creating a pull request? Let's say, let me log into using another account. Okay. So I'm going to go to github.com. I'll click on sign in. Let me put my credentials.
Till the time Praveen is logging in, so it's time for a first poll. And Praveen, can we send out the
first go on, and then don't forget the feedback form as well. Like, I guess we are running out of time. We just have 15 more minutes. We should have given the feedback form now. So go ahead and give the poll as well, so that we'll see how many of you are winning something really cool.
So we can share the first poll.
Yeah.
So let's say we are in this particular thing. Okay, share the first poll. I will try to pin the message and people will be able to see that. Let me know once you have shared it.
Yep.
Okay, so I've shared in the chat.
You have shared in the chat.
Yeah.
I still can't find it.
Oh
yeah, got it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just replacing the pin. So this is the quiz 1. Okay, so for folks who are ready to take up a small quiz, just go for it. And before that, let's quickly do this. So the first thing that you would be doing is you will be opening this particular, you'll be opening this particular thing. And here in this one, if you open this one, you would be able to get this particular thing. Okay, so you have got cover.css and index.html. The first thing that you will be changing is the index page, right? So in this index page, if you want to edit this one, it automatically says that you have to fork this project and edit the file, which means you are making the Xerox copy of it. So you are making changes in a project that you don't have write access to. We have created a fork of this project for you to commit the proposed changes to. Submitting a change will write to a new branch in your Xerox copy or fork where you can send a pull request. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. So whose name should I actually add here? Go on. Who is volunteering here? And in the meantime, don't forget to answer the quiz 1 as well.
Yeah, there are so we have exciting goodies for you all. So the winners will be getting.
There will be also one leaderboard coming up.
Yes. So we will be announcing the results at the end of the event. So stay tuned. Or maybe on the Instagram page. So just.
I mean, like end of the event means there is only 10 minutes. We cannot give the leaderboard immediately at that time. So, okay, Rohit Vyas has been the quickest person always in the response. So I'm just going to do only one change here. So this author is there, right? I'm just going to put Rohit Vyas here. And then I'm just putting a proposed change as updated the author. And then I click on the proposed change. So now what I'm going to do is there is this comparison that happens, and then I see that I have changed the content of the author to Rohit Vyas, and then click on create pull request. Praveen, you asked us to change the author. So here we go. Changed it to Rohit Vyas. Okay. And then I click on create pull request. You need to tell the person why this pull request needs to be accepted. Once that happens, I would be getting the pull request here. So updated the author. I'll check this one, open it. Praveen, you asked us to change the author. So here we go. Okay, fine. Changed it to Rohit Vyas. Oh, okay. There is only one commit, updated the author. Looks fine to me. Clicking on files change, I could see that this person has actually updated the author. It looks good to me. So I put looks good to me and then +1 and then click on approve and then click on submit review. Done. That is done. The next thing is once I do this, I can do three types of merging the commits. So I'm going to use the squash and merge, and then I'll say update the author and confirm the squash merge. So once I do this, if I go to the code, I would be able to see that this particular person has actually updated the author. In this case, if you see here, I could clearly see that it is Rohit Vyas here. Okay. So the same way, I'm going to create another, like starting with, I'm going to create an issue. Okay. So please update the title to your name. Okay. So that is what I'm going to do and submit it as a new issue. So claim this issue. So to claim this issue, please comment below. Something like that I'm writing, and I'm sending this issue link to the YouTube chat as well. Okay. So whoever wants to claim the issue, I would expect someone from DJCSI to claim the issue. So go ahead and then type in that I'm interested or something like that. If you are from DJCSI, just tell that as well. And if you are not from DJCSI also, please tell that. Whoever comes first person to from DJCSI, you will be getting the issue. So let's see. Okay, Jishnu is already here. Okay, so Jishnu, okay, go ahead, and the issue is yours. The issue is yours, Jishnu. Please start working on and put your name instead of the cover page. And then I'm just assigning the issue to Jishnu. So I will be waiting for Jishnu to send me the pull request. So once pull request is created, Jishnu, what you need to do is, while creating the pull request, please in the description, please mention fixes number 2, fixes #2. So how you should be doing is, like in the same way, when you are creating this pull request, you just need to put fixes #2, something like this. You get it? Jishnu, please confirm that you are able to understand this part. This is very important to connect the issue with the pull request. All right. So I'll be waiting for Jishnu to finish the pull request. At the same time, for other people, whoever is working on the quiz 1, make sure you finish it as well. So should we go for a quiz 2 now? A lot of people.
Before we go to quiz 2, just one thing, Praveen. Can you tell them more about .getignore? Like, it's very useful when you are dealing with a lot of stuff.
Definitely. Sure. So one thing which you might have commonly seen is there is a .getignore file that is very common in most of the repositories. What happens is, whenever you're trying to work with something, you're not working in the same computer, right? I'm using a Mac OS. You might be using a Windows machine. Someone might be using a Ubuntu machine. So there are different types of machines that will be used. And at that point of time, there is a very big chance that there will be mission specific, operating system specific files that will be getting generated. So those files can be generated once again when the file is not there. So we should not version control them, because if I version control something that is specific to Mac machine, and then if you open it in your Windows machine, there is a lot of probability that your machine might crash. For example, in Mac, you can use colons and etc. in the file name itself. So if you try to check out or clone that particular repository, you will not be able to clone that. So those kind of things should be avoided. For avoiding those kind of things, we will be using gitignore. And not only that, there are also some packages, the external packages that can be downloaded later point of time. You don't need to version control those things. In JavaScript, you will be using something called as node modules. We'll be completely ignoring those files. So that is the main thing about gitignore. Also, along with that, thanks for asking this question. I wanted to also tell that I also created a small playlist on Git and GitHub, 3-hour playlist only, just 3 different things. So that will actually explain all these things as well. So for example, here, you'll be learning about, so these are the things that you will be learning here. So there are like introduction to version control systems, choosing the right version control system, why Git is so popular, why not others, downloading and installing Git, initializing a Git repository locally, understanding the terminologies, and the basic Git workflow. This is the first part. The second part is about introduction to GitHub. What is the relation between Git and GitHub? Creating a GitHub account, creating a new repository, pushing the local files to the remote, pulling the files as well, and then the gitignore file. Then we have another part. This is the last and final part, I promise. Here we will be talking about the issues and pull requests, which we just talked about. Then different merging strategies, the 3 things in complete details, choosing the best merging strategies. Why should you choose something like this? And finally, the stash and cherry picking, which is one of the most very common and very important things in this in Git and GitHub. Then we have got reviewing pull requests, which we just did, and then finally a real world complete example. All these things are in the three videos in this playlist. So I'm just gonna copy this full playlist and send it over to here as well. So if you want to have a look at this, you can have a look at that. So in the meantime, we are still waiting for Rohit to complete.
Yes, and now it's the time for poll 2. So there's another quiz coming up in the chat section. So guys, you can just go ahead and participate in poll 2 as well.
Yes, the poll 2 has been replaced with the pinned question.
Yeah, so I've sent the link for
guys. We'll be declaring 6 winners, and 3 of them will be getting Indian team jersey, cricket team, and the other 3 would be getting free mock interviews from Interview Buddy. So shout out to us.
Wow.
And just go ahead and
hey, am I getting anything?
Sponsors. If you come to Mumbai.
Okay, that's a long way. I'll stay in London. Oh my God, Jishnu has got a power loss. Okay, so we saw exactly how we can do these things, and we have also seen how we will be working with what do you call this? Creating a website ourselves and working on this. So Jishnu, will you be able to make it, or should I give it to someone else? So this is your one chance to prove it, man. You got a good opportunity. Let me actually check if there is any other pull request here, or if I see if I could find if there is any other person who has asked this. So let's wait for Jishnu once again. So what you can do is, like, using this one, you will be able to see that this has been deployed as well. So deployment, it is there in the GitHub pages. So this pages, if you just open it in a new window, boom, you could see that it is here, and we can see that Rohit Vyas name should be somewhere here. So author is Rohit Vyas. So we already have got this one. Cool, right? So this is an easy way of deploying it to the people as well. Hey, should we put up the feedback form right now for the certificate part, so people don't miss it?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, just put the feedback link, and then let them get the certificate soon. So certificates will be available by Wednesday, I guess. Okay.
Yep, and you can go ahead to that website in the description and claim your certificates. So Praveen, we'll send the feedback form in a minute, because I think they will be busy submitting the quiz too.
Submitting the quiz. Okay. So in the meantime, we can answer all the questions that are there. So
just one thing, Praveen, can you just give them a brief about GitHub Pages as well?
So GitHub Pages is similar to Vercel and Next.js or something like that. Vercel or Netlify. GitHub Pages is one of the easiest way to deploy your static websites to the public site or something like that. So that is what GitHub Pages will do. And apart from that thing, what GitHub Pages does is it will not support any kind of backend application. But in case if you want to do blogs, you can use Jekyll for blogging as well. So remember, I was telling, like, please try to blog your known stuff or something like that, right? So those kind of things can be done using Git and GitHub as well. So Git and GitHub using GitHub Pages. So these are a couple of features that GitHub Pages will provide you, and all these pages will be protected with HTTPS, so you don't need to worry. And if you have a username, like let's say mine is Praveen Science, okay, let's replace the pinned. So don't forget the feedback form. That is very important as well. And okay, so let's say my GitHub username is Praveen Science. And if you have your username, like if you want to host your website or something like that, it is going to be praveenscience.github.io, or your username.github.io. Github.io pages are looked upon with like really a great respect for all the developer communities. So in case if you are going for a job or something like that, and if you say that I have a website, I have my personal portfolio, and you can find it here, like praveenscience.github.io, shaurya.github.io, or something like that. So that way, you will also be giving them your GitHub ID. At the same time, you say that you have a personal profile. So there are like loads and loads of benefits for using the GitHub repository or something like that. So leaderboard will be published by the DJCSI team. Okay, go on.
Yeah. We'll get it done in a minute.
Oh, in a minute? Hey, so fast you are.
Yeah. Yes, we have the winners ready.
You have the winners ready?
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Cherry, okay. Go on. Hey, don't forget the feedback form, please. That is more important.
Very important. And can we also share the internship form?
I guess so. Yes. Go for it then. Sure. So for those people who are looking for internships, whether it is in the UK, I mean, like in case if I will be able to help you, then it is going to be in the UK, internships in the UK. So I can try referring you to the companies that I know. So that way here, the referral concept will be very powerful. So I'll be able to refer you all in the thing. So in case if you are interested in getting an internship in the UK, so go ahead, share the form. Or maybe what you do is, okay, I'll share the form somewhere else, or like, okay, let's share it in the chat. So really, we want to see the feedback first, and then we want them to see the internship in case if that is okay. I mean, whatever it is.
So I've sent the winners in the chat box.
Winners already announced. They tell the names. They will be very happy.
So the pool 1 winners are Prathamesh Nayak, Rushi Kanthode, Nihal Vishal Gupta, and pool 2 winners are Shiv Bonde, Dishant Zaveri, and Janisha. So congratulations. Our team will be contacting you soon for the goodies. You must have filled the mobile numbers and emails in the form. So once again, congratulations, guys.
This is so good. Awesome. This is very good. Yeah, don't forget the feedback form. And yeah, if there is any other questions, we can talk about that, and then we will finish it off as well. So by the way, in case if you have a possibility of giving Jishnu a goodie as well, that would be great, because Jishnu just completed his PR as well. So would you like to give something for him? Include that if possible, please.
Chirag, you can.
Actually had 6 prizes only.
Okay. Fine. Jishnu, just contact me on LinkedIn. I'll sort something out for you. All right.
Yes. Praveen has a lot of great stuff, I guess.
No, I wanted this event to be completely yours, so that's the reason. So thanks everyone for coming in this Monday evening time or afternoon time, or whichever time zone you are in. And thanks a lot for coming in. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button. Thanks for supporting me. And anytime I will be able to guide you or help you out. So keep in touch. LinkedIn is there, and I'll also put my website and all the other things as well. So here's my LinkedIn, and hit the subscribe button as well. And thank you so much. Okay, there is a question. Is it good to remove the forked repo after contributing? I guess it's a good idea, but it's up to you. It is just a personal choice. If you want to keep your GitHub profile cluttered, keep it that way. doesn't make any difference. But yeah, I mean, it will be nice to have it. But don't delete it. That is my personal opinion. Any other questions? Any other things would you like to discuss? Or should we stop here? Where can we access the certificate? Mithun, if you see in the description, there is a link to the certificates. So that will be available from day after tomorrow. Okay. So can you? Okay, I'll just put it over here. So, boom. There you go. It's a verifiable certificate, so it will be never expiring and verifiable. So be happy. Congrats, everyone. Thanks, everyone. If there is no other questions, we can wind up. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming, and make sure you stay safe. And it's Corona time, so be safe. Take all the local precautions and be awesome.
Once again, thank you, Praveen, on behalf of TJCSI. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. See you all, and share the. Okay, there is a special surprise from me as well. So make a full screenshot and share it in your socials and tag me, these guys as well, and DJCSI. You might get into some surprise. Okay, so that is one thing which I wanted to say at the last. And okay, let me quickly read through other comments as well. Sir, was my profile keeping in mind I'm 15 years old? 15 years old? Yeah, don't keep saying the name. Don't keep saying that 15 years old. It's okay. It's completely fine. If you are about 12 years, I guess it's okay. But until 18 years old, you should not get access to internet. I mean, it depends on different places. So don't worry about that at all. 15 years, I guess it should be all right. Any other questions? I'm just looking into other questions if there is anything. Thank you so much for such a nice, awesome comments. Stay till the end. You might have something. I regret not applying for CSIR. Why, Dishant? You can even apply now as well, right? CSI is what? Oh, so this one, is it? Okay.
You can't apply now actually because the committee is already formed, right? But yes, you can be a part of CSI by being a member. So that would be during the membership drive. So we will let
Dishant. Okay, Dishant, wait. If you are regretting not joining DJCSI or CSI, do you want to join my team then?
Not sure about Dishant, but probably me.
Okay, definitely. You both are already welcome for me. So both of you come in and let's rock in all the different hackathons that's going on. And don't forget, there are like so many live streams that will be in this channel as well. And there will be a lot of events that are organized in the local hackathon communities, and all these things are virtual. You will be able to get a lot of awesome goodies like this, t-shirts, and I even got this New Relic socks. Like New Relic is one of the most sought after like a service as what do you call this, infrastructure as a service kind of an application, and they are like super cool. And hey, thank you so much, Rashi. Okay, Rohit, you're already in my team, right? Remember, I added you in one of the groups. So whoever wants to follow me, come join me in my LinkedIn family as well. And Twitter is actually easier now, I guess. Considering that, I guess I'll just send you my Twitter links. So, yep, come in and join me. And don't forget to come to the next live streams and other things. So, see you all. Stay safe. Would you like to say bye-bye? My throat is dead.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
So, bye, everyone.
Thank you for attending. Nice, I hope you got a great insights into open source and GitHub.
Awesome. That was really great. Thank you so much, folks.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye. Have a great day. Bye.